Spanish Supreme Court kept Grassroots pro-independence leader Jordi Sànchez in jail today. The justification? There is risk of reoffending as Sànchez maintains his pro-independence ideology. Hello, and welcome to Catalan News. 4 people are still in pretrial prison over the independence case. The judge in the Spanish Supreme Court denied Jordi Sànchez, the former president of the main pro-independence civil organization, his freedom. The magistrate believes that the demonstrations promoted by his entity were a strategic element in the independence roadmap. While Sànchez is still behind bars, today marks 100 days of Carles Puigdemont's arrival in Brussels. His candidacy is still trying to work out how to swear him in as Catalan president again. Today on our show, we'll get you the latest proposal to make that happen, and we'll also hear how unionist parties reacted. Jordi Sànchez has been in prison for the past 3.5 months, and he will remain behind bars for some more time. The Spanish Supreme Court denied releasing him, even after Sànchez gave up a unilateral independence path last month and accepted the Spanish Constitution. What he didn't do, though, is give up his pro-independence ideology, and this might have contributed to his continued incarceration.
Pro-independence grassroots leader Jordi Sànchez will remain behind bars. The Spanish Supreme Court decided not to release him, arguing that there is a risk of him reoffending. The Spanish judge stated that Sànchez might repeat the same offences he is being investigated for, as he maintains his pro-independence ideology and has not stepped down from public office. Yet, resigning one's post does not seem the best route to freedom. The imprisoned Catalan Home Affairs Minister was last week kept in jail despite him stepping down as an MP. Before becoming an MP, Sànchez headed the Catalan National Assembly, and the Supreme Court judge said that such pro-independence associations use the mobilisation of the public as a strategic element, aiming at achieving Catalonia's independence. Sànchez regretted the court's decision via Twitter. He said that it is legally inexplicable to keep him in prison, and he stressed that he has always stood against violence. Just before the court's ruling on Sànchez's release, an association of Spanish judges denounced interference by the Spanish government in the judiciary's decisions on Catalonia and its push for independence. The association called the Spanish executive's attempts to influence court decisions unacceptable. They also criticised judicial bodies for remaining silent in the face of political interference in the judiciary, and they warned that political interference is affecting public confidence in courts and judges.
While Sànchez remains in custody, Carles Puigdemont is still trying to be reinstated as president from Brussels. His team is considering amending a law in order for him to be sworn in at a distance. While unionist parties flatly rejected this possibility, other pro-independence forces have avoided having their say. It's been a week since the parliamentary debate to pick a president was postponed.
On January 30th, the Catalan Parliament Speaker decided to postpone the debate to pick a new president for the country. The reason? The Spanish Constitutional Court still had to decide whether Puigdemont's bid was legal under Spanish law. The judges haven't taken a final decision yet, but the pro-independence parties are still discussing what to do in the likely event that the court rules against Puigdemont being reinstated. His candidacy, Junts per Catalunya, is considering amending the presidency bill to enable swearing him in at a distance. The idea would include having one government in Belgium but another one in Catalonia. The former would lead the country politically, while the latter would manage the daily affairs of the administration. The other 2 pro-independence parties, Esquerra and the CUP, have avoided commenting on this move. Yesterday, an official for Esquerra said that having 2 presidents sounded good, but he was commenting on a proposal of swearing in someone in Belgium rather than symbolically. The unionist bloc has already rejected the possibility of amending the law to swear Puigdemont in. The Spanish vice president said that he cannot be reinstated, while the Catalan branch of her party expressed a similar view.
El senyor Puigdemont, que es comença a comportar com allò que deien antigament dels reis sense corona i que es dedica a anar pel món pensant que és un rei.
In between both blocs, Catalonia en Comú Podem doesn't question Puigdemont's bid, but prefers a president coming from a clearly left-wing party.
Però igual de legítim em sembla al senyor Puigdemont que qualsevol altre que podrien trobar entre les files d'Esquerra Republicana i la CUP.
Nothing is still clear about who the next president for Catalonia will be. In fact, it is even uncertain how long is left to swear someone in until a snap election is automatically called. The Parliament lawyers are still working it out after the delayed investiture debate.
One of the key elements of the negotiations to appoint a new president is the fact that Puigdemont is in Brussels and risks arrest and jail if he returns. In fact, today it's been exactly 100 days since he got to the EU capital, along with 4 of his deposed ministers, right after the Declaration of Independence. In a press conference immediately after arriving in Belgium, he said he aimed to work with more freedom, and he has managed to do so. A Spanish judge issued a European arrest warrant for all 5, but it was later withdrawn. In this time, all 5 deposed Catalan government ministers ran in the December 21st election and contributed to a pro-independence victory. Puigdemont might end up behind bars if he returns, but so far, he's been free to move throughout Europe, as he showed last month when he traveled to Denmark for 2 days. Moving on to economy. Many organizations in the sector are making their forecasts on how the Catalan economy will behave in 2018. The president of Banc Sabadell said this morning that normality will return in the coming months, after some woes in the past term coinciding with political turmoil. The Association of Economists in Catalonia also said that the conflict between Spanish and Catalan administrations won't have major effects on the economy in 2018.
Si el conflicte, que insisteixo hem d'assumir que hi serà, es canalitza pels tràmits i pels canals habituals, no prevec que hi hagi un impacte substancial o molt perceptible en els objectius de creixement. És una economia bastant diversificada, té elements actius potents i, per tant, és una economia que pot aguantar xocs puntuals.
We've already talked about many elements of Catalan culture: food, theater, music, cinema. But what you may not know is that there is an artistic community dedicated to something a bit more underground, but just as active: graphic novels and animation. These are 2 big sectors in Catalonia that both just announced a gathering this year.
Comics and cartoons aren't just for kids. There is a whole wall out there dedicated to exploring new and creative ways to use these mediums. And Catalonia is set to be the hub for both in the coming months. The Barcelona Saló del Còmic Fair presented its 36th edition today, to take place in mid-April in the Catalan capital. Its protagonist is the well-known Super López, a parody of Superman raised in Barcelona. This year we'll celebrate the character's 45th birthday, as well as the artist behind the superhero, Jan. Last year's edition reached the record number of 118,000 attendees, and this one promises to not disappoint. The 2018 Comic Fair will also pay homage to Jack Kirby. Known as the King of Comics, this is the Marvel artist behind Captain America. For those who prefer something a bit more dynamic, another event was presented today, Animac, Catalonia's International Film Festival. Running from February 22nd to 25th in the western town of Lleida, this edition will show over 300 audiovisual works selected from over 700 submissions, the highest the organization has ever had. This year's fair will revolve around the theme of music, so expect live performances during the showings, as well as all types of masterclasses and workshops.
Stories remain in our hearts even when all else is gone.
Attendees will also be able to take a look at 2 Oscar-nominated films. The Breadwinner, produced by Angelina Jolie, will be shown for the first time in the country, telling the tale of a little girl in a war-torn Afghanistan.
Just wait and see.
Animation lovers will also get a chance to see Loving Vincent, dedicated to Van Gogh. It comprises over 60,000 hand-painted stills inspired by the Dutch artist.
We've reached the end of our show today. Before going, we want to show you images of a recent musical tribute to Manuel de Pedrolo. He was a writer whose typescript of The Second Origin is the second most successful book in the history of Catalan literature. Enjoy the music by artist Cesc Freixas, and see you tomorrow.
Contra l'immobilisme, avui és que ja es cansó.